I'd like to call to order the Utility Service Board for the City of Lawrence on this, the 13th day of February 2024. All members are present, so we do have a quorum. I'd like to welcome Darren and Shanita as new members of the board, and thank you for being here. Our first order of business will be the approval of our minutes of our regular meeting of January 23, 2024. Those were sent out to you for your review by email.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any additions or corrections? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Those are approved. The claims were sent out to the members for their review by email. I would entertain a motion that we approve the payment of the claims.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. That is approved. Report of our utility superintendent.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Tonight, the utility is seeking approval of task order number 11 with American Structure Point in the not to exceed amount of $268,440. This is for the Indian Creek Interceptor Flow Monitoring Project. This is to give us a targeted evaluation of the Indian Creek Sanitary Sewer Interceptor and the flow that goes through it to collect data to calibrate the city's hydraulic and hydrologic model. And the project will also allow us to evaluate the wet weather flows versus the dry weather flows in the various locations. This will help identify potential issues with I&I, inflow infiltration. And after we have this information collected, it will aid in the planning, any necessary rehabilitation projects to eliminate I&I and free up additional needed sewer capacity in that area. We have Karen Saavedra here with American Structure Point tonight. If you've got any questions, she's got some slides she can show you to explain in depth what that project's all about. We also are seeking approval of task order number 4 with Wessler Engineering and the not to exceed amount of $20,000 for general GIS support services as Lawrence Utilities transitions management of our GIS data to our new platform. In June of 2022, we engaged Wessler to develop a new GIS platform that would allow for real-time data to be added to our mapping system. So when we do inspections, repairs, replacements, we can get that data right into the system immediately. And to help also create work orders, full reports from it. This is not to exceed $20,000. We don't really know if we're going to need to use all of that, so we just put a little bit in there so that, you know, we didn't have to wait and we can have their assistance if we need to while we transition into it. We're also seeking approval of task order 19 with Wessler Engineering in the not to exceed amount of $8,000 to review the NDOT plans to prepare a work plan identifying conflicts from the plans with the sanitary sewer and water infrastructure for the upcoming NDOT Pendleton Pike project, which is basically what's been hanging on the wall for several months now. Basically from 465 to, I believe, at least Oak Landing Road, they're going to be doing some reconstruction on Pendleton Pike. So with their new poles, the medians, if we have any sewer main or water main assets in the way, we're going to have to develop a plan to get those moved out of the way. The utility is also seeking the approval of a waterline general construction observation agreement between the Village of Merici for inspection services, work performed at 5731 Lawton Loop East Drive. Lawrence Utilities will bill the owner $75 an hour for inspection services for the project. It's estimated that we'll get around $750 for this project for our inspection time. We're also seeking another waterline general construction observation agreement with JMT Landscape for the same inspection services for 4385 Shadeland Avenue. This would be $75 an hour, and it's an estimated $720 for the project for our inspection services. We also have two account adjustments on the agenda tonight. Utility recommends approval of both of those.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
Mr. Chairman, Paul, do we have any kind of budget number what all this work down Pendleton Pike might cost?
As far as the
As far as
utility
work?
side?
Yes.
No, that's, there will be an upcoming, another task, amendment to the task order. We're gonna have to put, Westler Engineering is gonna have to design the conflicts, what we have to do to go around them, and they'll put a number to it at that time. But right now, we don't have an estimate for that.
Is the majority of all this work going to be paid for by Lawrence?
Just the sewer and water portion we have to.
I mean, like I guess it's U.S., so it'd be a government grant?
It's an NDOT project. They're the ones that are actually doing the asphalt, the
Okay.
concrete, and
I was curious.
Lawrence will have to coordinate with, I believe, power poles, storm sewers.
Basically, the reconstruction, we gotta get, if water utility is in the right of way, since it's in the state right of way, we have to move our utility if there's any conflict. So say they wanna put a new storm sewer in at a certain spot, and our water main is at the same elevation, we'll have to accrue that cost to get those moved out of the way. As far as the road and all that stuff, that comes out of your tax dollars that you pay for state. Comes out of state funds.
Is there any targeted start date for that?
I'm not 100% sure. I could ask my engineer back here, but I'm thinking it's probably like a year or two down the road.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything further?
I'm good, thank you.
All right. Our next order of business is unfinished business. Election of chair and co-chair. We had tabled this matter before, awaiting the arrival of some new members. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to take that off of the table.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to take that off the table for a vote tonight.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. So that is on the table. It has not been my practice in the 8 years that I've been doing this as chairman to make motions, but I'm going to deviate from that at this point and make a motion that we elect a new chair and that the new chair be Tracy Boyd.
1 second. I didn't hear the last thing that you said.
Pardon?
I didn't hear the last thing that you said. I'm sorry.
The new chair be Tracy Boyd. Okay, so second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any other nominations? If not, we'll vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those nay. Tracy, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I am going to trade chairs with you.
Thank you.
You get to go right to work. Tracy.
Okay, well, thank you guys. I'm excited to serve in this capacity. And let's move on to the next agenda item. Next agenda item.
Madam Chair,
Yes, I'm sorry.
so it looks like we still need to do nominations for a co-chair as well.
Sorry. May I have a nomination for the co-chair?
I would like to nominate Steve Hall.
I'll second. May I have a vote?
Aye.
Who seconded?
I did.
Oh, you said, okay.
Aye.
Aye.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Unanimous? Aye. It was unanimous vote. Everyone voted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I heard
Any
you say
opposed?
that we need to do everybody. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, now you can move on to the new business.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and move to new business on the agenda. The next agenda item is the approval of the Waterline General Construction Observation Agreement for JMT Landscape. Can you guys hear me? Okay,
Sorry.
okay.
Make the motion, we approve the Waterline General Construction Observation Agreement for JMT Landscape.
Okay. Second, and may I have a vote, please?
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll give
Aye.
Thank you, so moved.
Any opposed?
Any opposed?
No. Motion carries.
Motion passed. Second item on new business is approval of Waterline General Construction Observation Agreement for Village of, is it Merci? Marici Incorporated. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I make the motion.
May I have a second?
A second.
Okay, any opposed? May I have a vote?
Aye.
Signify.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Next agenda item is the approval of task order number 11 from American Structure Point Incorporated, not to exceed $268,440 for Indian Creek Interceptor Flow Monitoring Project. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any opposed? No opposed? May I have a vote, please?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor?
All those in favor
All in
signify by
favor.
saying aye.
All in favor? Signify by saying aye. Got it.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next agenda item, approval of task order number 4 from Wessler Engineering not to exceed $20,000 for GIS support services. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Are there any opposed? No opposed? Tell me again.
So all those in favor, if you're calling for a vote, it's all those in favor signify by saying aye, and then the members will vote, and then you'll move forward if any opposed, and then if there were any opposed, they'll voice their opposition at that point. So generally, we're looking for a motion for approval and a second of approval. And as chair, you have discretion on whether or not you'd like to have discussion on the issue. And then if there is discussion, then you can have discussion as long as you'd like. And then at the time that there's no more discussion, you can move for a vote.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So may I have a motion?
Aye.
Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you. Are there any opposed? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. Motion passed. New business item number 5, approval of task order number 19 from Wessler Engineering, not to exceed $8,000 for NDOT plan review. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I make that motion.
May I have a second motion?
I'll second.
Okay, which person? Did you get the first one? Did you get the second one? Okay. Any opposed? No opposed? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion approved. Account adjustments is the next item on the agenda. Approval of sanitary sewer adjustment at 10514 Camille Court for $270.74 due to a water softener malfunction. May I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any opposed? Okay, all those in,
I might take a moment here,
okay,
since you guys are new. What happens here is people have a water problem and their water bill goes up. We can eliminate the,
Off the water portion of it, but you can adjust off the sewer portion.
Just the water portion.
Go down the sanitary sewer.
Yeah, they still pay for the water, but we can excuse the sewer portion of it,
Yeah, because the water did not go through,
our
sewer.
sanitary system.
Gotcha.
so.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Madam, may I carry that a little further? And you have a opportunity after the motions to make a comment or ask a question. Why was this so high? Did it go into our sewer? Why wasn't anybody, just anything that you're concerned about that's your opportunity to speak up and ask either Paul or one of the engineers out here, just so that you know.
Makes sense. Thanks for that.
We'll have her down pat in a couple weeks.
And just to tie one more snack together, when the superintendent person is giving the presentation, they'll usually make a recommendation if they're in support of us paying it for one reason or another, and he did state that when he gave his presentation.
And you're allowed to ask them questions as well. And this is our attorney on the other side.
Yeah,
If you
I'll introduce myself after the
real
meeting.
thought.
Okay. Any questions? I know we've kind of downloaded a lot of information.
No, you did a great job of explaining some of the things I am familiar with. I did have some questions about the number 4 that we did approve on, and I just want to know when it said not to exceed that amount. I was concerned about the gap of, say, it costs here, but we're going to pay out more. What's the difference?
It won't go over the 20,000 regardless. If it gets to the point where we get to that 20,000 and we need additional, I have to come back to ask for more, and you can vote to approve or deny.
Understood.
But so say they only spend 15, 5 goes back into the.
That's the question. That's what I need. Yeah. Great. Thank you.
And it's helpful for me because usually I'm dashing from work to here to just make yourself familiar with those reports prior.
I looked at them prior
Yeah.
to, so that, and I was like,
It's
whoa.
helpful.
So, yeah.
All righty.
You review them.
Okay. So, back to the motion.
Make a motion.
So I think we already have a pending motion and a sec.
Just need
Okay.
to-
Okay, and we were in the discussion. Are there, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye?
Aye. Are there any other discussion or questions or comments?
Thank you.
Motion carried, thank you. And account adjustment number 2, approval of sanitary sewer adjustment at 4773 North Mitchner Avenue for $1,913.17 due to service line leak. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay. And are there anyone opposed?
How did that get to $1,900?
Yeah, that's a lot.
The time it took for them to probably get a contractor out to fix it, possibly. I'd have to ask Kathy for specifics on it.
That's just the sewer bill. I'd hate to see the water side of that.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Motion carried. Remonstration of ratepayer dispute regarding disconnect? None. Citizens' comments? None. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair, I make that motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
There's no reason to oppose here, right?
You can have discussion if you'd like, or you can just call for a vote.
Okay, may I have a vote, please?
Aye?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, 5:49.